People on the narcissism spectrum, from those with narcissistic traits to those diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, tend to have an intense desire to win arguments. Why do they love to argue so much? Before I answer this question, I want to thank you for watching this video and ask you to take this time right here, right now, to like the video. That does so much for me as a content creator. Now, why do narcissists love to argue? They love to argue. They set up platforms on social media, begging people to engage them. Call in, hit the link, come on up so they can argue with you, berate you, talk to you crazy, make a fool. Why do they love to do this? Even if the person who calls in is kind, well-mannered, you disagree with them, they love to do this. It helps to keep their ego intact. Narcs have a brutal ego. Without their ego intact, they can hear the brutal truth of the insults that their ego launches at them, that inner voice launches at them about being subpar and fraudulent. And I mean, if you as a normal, regular person, or even if you are neurodivergent, if you had the brutal ego of a narcissist, you would be next to self-suicidal ideation, honestly. Anyhow, the narcissist loves attention and validation and power. Those three things: attention, validation, and power. Mess with any of these, even unwittingly. You didn't know you were doing it. It was by mistake, accident. You weren't paying attention. Watch that narcissist go to work on you. So what drives a narcissist crazy? Simply put, anything that jeopardizes their basic needs for superiority. Isn't that crazy to have as a need? Superiority. Superiority. Imagine you're a pianist. I remember going to my recital, and there were kids who had been playing for years, and there were kids who had been playing for just months. Imagine me as a kid who had only been playing for months, needing to feel superior over the kid who'd been playing for years. They have a need, y'all. A need, like basic, foundational need for superiority. So having more education than them, more intelligence than them, being stronger, faster, kinder than them, more well-respected, hell, having longer hair, especially for the somatic female narcissist. Anything that threatens their need to feel superior can trigger them. Gentle side note: you will not be winning any arguments with a narcissist unless they want you to think that you won, right? Maybe they are ready to re-engage in the love bombing or hoovering, and they want you to feel like you won. All right? That's the only win you're going to get. Most fights will result in the narcissist name calling, yelling, becoming extremely emotional, using low blows that they know will hurt you. Imagine, just to put this in some context, imagine you and the narc are having an argument about, this was your friend. They betrayed your trust by exposing your private details unprovoked, unnecessarily, to someone you are at odds with. And you know what they say when you go, how could you? Why did you say that? What would make you do that? I thought you said you loved me. I thought we were friends. That narc is going to be like, even God doesn't love you, because every child you ever conceived died. So me telling your business is much less than that. You must have deserved it in some kind of cosmic manner. So why don't you take it up with him and not me? Go worry about why God doesn't love you and why God would do this to you, because clearly this was God's will. And that's another thing that really sucks about some of us when we have these backgrounds, these heavily churched, heavily Abrahamic faith, these backgrounds where we're always talking about, God's will and God's destiny and God's design and things like this. There's nothing wrong with God. There's nothing wrong with being a believer. I myself am a believer. However, you see how this can get really nasty when people can try to use religion and the death of your children to try and destroy you. And here's what I would say to you if something like that has happened to you. God's love is not measured by what you have. Kids, cars, clothing. It's not measured by what you have. It's measured by who you are and what you do. Not by what you have, but by who you are, what you do. That's it. So if anyone ever said anything horrible to you like that, digged in a grave just to throw dirt in your face, let me heal that for you. A person who could say a thing like this does not know God. Because they would know from every ancient text. It could be the Quran, the Bible, the Torah. It could be the Vedas, Mahavidya. I mean, the same person would turn around and say God gives his greatest test to his greatest soldiers. But then God don't even love you because every child you ever conceived died. So that must mean you're cursed and you need to go pray about that. Right? No. That is not the measure. We have the stories of Job and the stories of Joseph, Yusuf alayhi salam. If you're from an Islamic background, we know that this is not the case, but this is how narcissists will try to talk to you and try to break you. Of course, if that's not enough, if that is not enough, it's plenty. But if it's not enough, if that narc thinks that they can take you out, they will end up becoming physically aggressive against you over something that clearly doesn't require such energy. But I mean, that's a narcissist for you. It's just, it's what they do. They will, it could be over a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and they turn into, this extreme by any means necessary. I've got to win. It's like, oh my goodness, you can have the sandwich. I don't like Wonder Bread anyhow. Grape jelly is Smucker's is not my thing. Why are we fighting? But it can get that bad over something that menial. Also, if you are a hopeful optimist like I was, like I once was in dealing with narcissists, forget about compromising or finding any kind of middle ground, because that's what when you're not a narc, that's actually what you're looking for. You're trying to come to a middle ground. You're trying to solve a problem. You don't want to be with, rock with the problem. You want to solve it. You want to get whatever's on the other side of that equal sign. You've got the 1 + 1. You're just trying to get to 2. That's it. Listen, you're not going to get that from a narcissist. The only objective a narcissist has in a disagreement or even a simple difference of opinion is to destroy your point and quite possibly you. And they have a wealth of tools to aid them in this. Gaslighting, word salad, denial, low blow insults, flying monkeys, ad hominem attacks, distracting from the dialectic by bringing up old issues in detail that has nothing to do with the current situation, especially if your back and forth is in front of an audience. Good luck. They will make sure they do all of these things to distract the audience as well. So that pretty soon the audience or whatever the third party is, they'll get distracted and lose the point. They'll lose the point because they kept bringing up old issues in detail. And well, on January 28th, I remember because it was 3 a.m. when I went to go get a sandwich at the subway and I said no mayo, and you were laughing because they put mayo and I'm allergic to mayo. And it's like, okay, but we're talking about something else. What is this? But the audience will get lost in the point. And it's like, where were we? I don't even care anymore. Stamina gone. Focus, concentration gone. Like, okay, whatever. We don't care anymore. And that's the point. And you'll even see it on YouTube with these 5 and 6 and 7 hour live streams, these 24-hour live streams, these people arguing back and forth. They will just keep, whenever you bring up a valid point, they will just keep throwing in whatever detail to make the audience lose the point and to distract and to deflect. Now, usually they do this argumentation because they feel angered or insulted by something you've done and want to start a fight as a result. And hear me out, because when I say something you've done, I don't mean something you've done to them, because again, It could be something just unwitting. You didn't even know, you didn't mean anything, and you know you didn't do anything to them directly. But, something you've done, like if you won a race, okay, something you've done, like if you won a pie eating contest, okay, you were minding your business. They weren't even competing. You were just there with 2-3 other people. They're mad because they don't think they can do what you did, right? You could have tossed your hair for a group photo and set them against you for life. Think of that. You could be the modest girl that everyone in the friend group is reacting to because for the first time you dressed in club wear, something short, tight. I mean, now everyone sees that, oh, she's this good looking girl under all those layers. We thought she was modest because she was hiding something. Little did we know, she just is a modest person. So now she's got good body and good character. Ha, ha. She just became the narcissist's worst arch nemesis. Period. And that's across genders, because women have a way that they can get upset about that, and men have a way that they can get upset about that, especially the men who like to fancy all women as, bad or whores, lascivious, like all women is this way, and then here you have this virtuous, modest, virgin who for the first time is, wearing something. See, I know, just set them all the way off. But really, they're set off because of all of that modesty and how you're proving that them and the women they came up with are just what they are. And that's not the norm. You just existing kind of proves that they come from a subpar, lower category, gutter group of individuals. Not everybody's mom was a prostitute on meth and fentanyl and black tar heroin. Sorry, not everybody's mom was out here getting pimped and neglecting their kids to the point that they become these narcissists. I'm sorry. Just by you being modest, just by you not being this hooker, street walking, whatever, and you really live that gospel or that Christian life or that Islamic life or that Jewish life that you preach about. Just you really being that human being gets you targeted. Or here's the deal. It could be that, and it could also be that they're just anxious or angry about something else entirely, and they're taking it out on you. Maybe you're just the nice one who everyone thinks is weak because you're nice. And, the narcissist is somewhere upset about their morning. Something happened with their significant other, and they couldn't engage them about it. So they'll engage the seemingly weaker target and go narc all over you. It's narc crazy all over you to massage those prior hurt feelings that took place with, their spouse, their partner, their boyfriend, their girlfriend, their significant other. Maybe they just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and it's just like, oh, this looks like a person who'll take my crap. Let me crap all over them. And that's it. You did nothing to deserve it. And I know if you've ever, good grief, if you've ever had a job, this has probably happened to you. Some way, somehow, there was a narc at the workplace and they just, you handed them a stapler and they just went mad. And it's just like, you asked me for a stapler, I handed it to you. What's going on? It happens. So at the core of every narc, they crave the limelight and the perks of success more than they need healthy relationships, intimacy, or love. Really sit with that for a moment, because that really disrupts Pavlov's hierarchy of needs, doesn't it? It's like, what manner of human being are you that you need attention and the perks of success more than love and healthy relationships and intimate? Like what kind of heart is this that beats in your chest to the point where you have those needs over basic human needs, that those needs for you exceed the basic pyramid of human needs? Wow. Just wow. That is incredible, but it's true. They don't need to be successful in a sense of I graduated from this school. They just need to be treated like a graduate. They don't need to be, actually pretty in real life. They just need enough filters or whatever to get the treatment of a pretty person online. Supply, supply, supply. Make me feel, make me feel, make me feel. More than the actual love, more than the actual intimacy, more than the actual healthy relationship. They just need the perks of it. and the attention of it, the limelight of it. That's sick. The tragic aspect of narcissism is that they depend totally on other people to nurture their sense of self, yet they are devoid of any ability to give back to others in any way that has meaning. These people can never internally, objectively, or even subjectively validate themselves. That's why they need this constant supply of attention and validation from the outside world, and will destroy you if it means getting likes and clicks on their YouTube channel and hearts on their Instagram and shares of their TikTok. Like, they'll just go for broke. 40 naughty on anybody who gets in the way. And you got in the way on accident. Maybe you got in the way just because you went viral for van life. And, they're somewhere doing, woke talk, and you're on van life talk or big talk, whatever, you're doing something totally different, but you went viral and they didn't. And they zeroed in on you, and now they're stalking you. Now they're talking about, now all of their content is about you, and they can't make content without talking about you. Fragile ego, fragile, brutal ego. So I think that's the thing. I can never truly remove all of my empathy, but I was just going to say, if I hadn't removed my empathy, that's something that I would feel terrible about. The fact that the narcissist can't really self-regulate. They can't just validate themselves. They can't look in the mirror and know who they are. They need somebody to tell them. And they will fight hard for that. And now you know why. So methods of argumentation for the narc, right? Because this is all about why they love to argue. Methods of argumentation for the narc. It's not like that of the lawyer, right? The lawyer, and maybe you and I as well, we require facts, evidence, and reality. Not the narc. Their tactics include provoking, bullying, and intimidating. That's how they argue. That's how they argue. And then they think they won. You're arguing about the process of precipitation, and you're telling them the 9 steps it takes for precipitation to happen, right? The process, the cycle of precipitation, And they will decide, just because they don't know the full process and they can't name all 9 steps or whatever it takes to get from, condensation to whatever else is going on. They're just like, I don't want to say any bad words on my channel because I like to keep my my videos monetized. But you can think of all the, pejoratives, name calling, epithets, racial epithets, and just gross insults. They provoke you, talk about your mom, bully you, say what they're going to do to you, try to intimidate you, right? That's how they argue. It's not, exhibit A, B, C. It's provoking, bullying, intimidating. Even if they have exhibit A, B, C, they're going to deviate from that into provoking, bullying, and intimidating. So the narcissists, they pick on you. They call you names. They yell. They act overly emotional. They deliberately try to hurt you. They will launch blatant lies and threats. Good Lord, these people can't be reasoned with. Just haul self and get out of there. Once you realize that you're dealing with an unreasonable narc, once you see the patterns of argumentation, once you see that this is what they do, just get out of there. Because any more you give them, it's going to be to your harm and their benefit. Just get out of there. Narcs don't just like to argue, they like causing others to argue as well. Pitting people against each other makes narcissists feel like they're a puppet master in control of pulling everyone's strings, making them feel like gods in their own little world. And you'll notice a narc does keep their world small because too much of the outer world forces them back into the truth of their subpar context. And that is brutal for them to acknowledge. Playing puppeteer, another source of their sense of accomplishment. Using conflict to get the better of you means they're in control. So they'll do this to make themselves feel better about, the pretty face that you have that overshadows theirs, or those well-behaved kids you have that they don't, because they're so horrible. Their children won't even call them mom. They're like, you don't deserve the mantle of mom. I'm going to call you by your first name. You're horrible, right? In their head, they're thinking, I got my victim to argue with so-and-so. Therefore, I'm smarter, better, and more powerful than both of them. That's their logic. Narcissistic abusers are self-aggrandizing and self-centered. They manipulate others into giving them an excessive amount of attention by displaying a variety of antics that range from entertaining to violent and even pathetic. If they can't entertain the hell out of you with what they're doing, or, be violent to the point where you're awestruck by the level of violence, they'll even be pathetic. Oh, my wife, she don't love me. Oh, she cheated on me. I just need to be held in your arms tonight. Oh, whatever, they'll play the victim. You will see, especially on social media, because that's the one address so many of us can't seem to change, right? We change our phone numbers, email addresses, physical addresses, cars. But, on social media, those are the addresses we tend not to be able to change. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, Twitter, or even if you decide you've got a new name and you're going to start a new channel, people can still find you because it's all the same app, right? So it's all the same platform. So because of this, you will see people that the narc has abused coming after them for recompense. You'll see them, especially when the victims don't know that this person is a narcissist. They will come after them for recompense. And maybe you'll see them coming in droves because they have victimized people in droves. But they'll say to you, help, I'm being dogpiled by people who are just jealous of the size of my platform. They're jealous of, the size of my booty. They're jealous of the fact that I have 11,000 subscribers. Oh, come help me, please. And it's like, nah, you lied on these people. You doxed these people. You doxed their children. You called their mothers out of their name. You got them fired from their jobs. You got their houses swatted. Nah, you deserve all of this. From all team 2011 couple dozen of these people. You deserve all of it because you did all of that to all of them. Sometimes narcs take on the tactic of displaying violence, making others, again, awestruck, right? So many of us think those that have, unalived others are cool. And I know that sounds funny. That sounds like, what do you mean we think people who, off others are cool? But think of how inner city communities treat, gangsters and hitters, for example. It's like, yeah, my one homeboy, yeah, he got 13 bodies on his belt. One pump, 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 And that also translates to, those who are online doxing others to tears and self-suicidal ideation. Oh, that person must have so many, people on their team and such computer skills, and I would sure hate for that to happen to me. So, onlookers will start to see them as some mighty force to be reckoned with, and they'll use this level of intimidation to make others awestruck with their inhumane capabilities. I was involved in a situation where two women had nude photos of one another, surgery or something like this, cosmetic surgery. And one was able to humiliate the other by sharing the nude photos, whereas the other, she couldn't do it. She was like, I have her photos too, but I can't do that to a human being. So obviously one person is better than the other. Clearly one person is better than the other. But here, when it comes to social media, they're just like, well, she can't show it. It must not exist. So she must just be a lion. And it's like, here's the person with the better character being treated like she ain't got it. But if she shows the proof, then it will be revenge porn. And that is a felony. That is about to be a federal crime with the SHIELD Act. So the narc wins because of their the fact that they have no problem with going so low. Some of us have inhibitions about ourselves. Some of us were raised with principles and we're just like, we don't go that low. We don't go that low. The narc has no such boundaries. Actually, the narc hates boundaries, and they hate it when people display and have and uphold boundaries. So again, back to argumentation. While you cannot argue with a narc, you can force them into telling the truth. I mean, if you've got that kind of time and stamina to spare, yeah, you can do that. You can engage them. Do the following if you want to get them to tell the truth. Collect your evidence in advance. In advance of the conversation. Approach a narcissist when you are calm. Calm. Reassure them that it's safe to tell the truth. Ask for simple yes or no answers, because once those answers become open-ended, you're a goner. It's done for. No, just straight yes or no answers. Also, tell them not to blame anyone or anything else. And threaten them with this. You'll lose people's respect if you keep lying. Now, many narcissists, they're just going to keep lying because their truth is so much more horrible than the lie. But some narcissists, you can get to that, especially you can get through to them with that, especially if you're able to choose a mediator whose respect and approval they really, really want. Okay. That's part of the reason they work so hard to devalue people and to talk bad about people, because they have a need for the validation of people who they feel are above them. But if they can get themselves to believe that you're beneath them, then they don't care what you think. If you catch a narcissist in a lie and confront them, you'll definitely face one of these 4 D words. They were either deny, deflect, devalue, or dismiss you. Deny, deflect, devalue, dismiss. Write that down and catch that all over social media, all over the workplace, all over family and community organizations. Deny, deflect, devalue, dismiss. You could be speaking the gospel truth. You could have all the proof in front of you. Even if you get them to eventually tell the truth, they will not without denial, deflection, devaluation, or dismissing. So they'll deny by saying, I didn't do that. That never happened, right? For whatever you're accusing them of, when you know that it did happen. Or they will deflect by changing the subject. Devalue by saying the issue really isn't that serious. In other words, making a lesser value statement on the concern. Even though they'd raise hell if it happened to them. Insert whatever issue, they'd raise hell over it, right? Even over a PB&J sandwich, right? Or they'll dismiss you like you're some peasant, right? When in reality, if you're the target of a narc, if you're the target of a narcissist, chances are you've exceeded them in the most things, if not everything. So it's just this amazing thing when they dismiss you like you're some peasant. You can be some total babe, you've graduated from, a master's program and, you became this wonderful author, whatever, distinguished, talented 10, blue vein society, not blue vein society, secret society. Like you've just been inducted into so many different, prestigious organizations. And then the narcissist who is a felon, who is, a registered blank offender, who is, who has done time with the feds, who has been on and off illegal drugs, is dismissing you like a peasant. Yeah. Mind blowing, right? Right? So deny, deflect, devalue, or dismiss. The narcissist may deny the truth even if it's blatant. They will draw upon alternate. My tongue is in the way. I don't have on my Invisalign aligners today. They'll draw upon alternative theories, no matter how far-fetched or impossible they seem. They may insist that other people are crazy or dumb for not seeing the situation as they do. Narcissists do this a lot. By that, I mean the accusations of people who oppose them being crazy and dumb and stupid and, remedial and have a reprobate mind, blah, 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 blah. Because creating alternate theories is a skill that only the cerebral narcissist is an adept at. So somatic narcs, for example, tend not to be the sharpest tool in the shed. You'll find a lot of narcissists who really can't think their way out of a wet paper bag. You'll punch holes in their lives so easily that the tactics will get worse and worse. So instead of them, if they're not intellectual enough to come up with an alternative theory, they'll just keep calling you crazy, dumb, retarded, crazy, dumb, stupid, crazy, dumb, reprobate, crazy, dumb, remedial, crazy, dumb, whatever, right? And I mean, you can meet a narc who's in Spanish, English, Arabic. They will all say the same thing. If you've met one, you've met them all. They practice from the same playbook. I think that is a fascinating thing. And this is why so many people who have suffered under narcissistic abuse say that it's spiritual. This is why they say that it's spiritual. Because it doesn't make any sense for so many people all around the globe to do the same exact thing. As if they sat somewhere in a booth and they met and they had a playbook. So anyhow, in closing, you can do what I do and just block the narcissist. Because honey, blockiyana, I have a block finger that is so swift. You can block the narc going full contact with the cutoff, but most narcissists will view being blocked as an act of aggression. It's like you slap them in their face. It's like you spit on them. It's like you stomped their mama. They can't see you as just, moving in personal autonomy. Oh, that's her. That's what she needed to do for her. To them, it's an act of aggression. A blocked narcissist won't have any ability to silence or control you. They need that access to you. They need there to be a way in. And I feel like this is another reason why they target these, these super duper religious people sometimes. Because it's just like, oh, God will forgive. And if you don't forgive, God won't forgive you. And forgive. And forgiveness doesn't just mean, you should be able to sit in my presence and not feel anything bad towards me. Because God said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. And you can't cast any stones, so you shouldn't be blocking me either. I just want to find all these scriptures and take them out of context so I can manipulate you with them. Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus. They need to be able to silence and control you more than you could ever imagine. And hey, that's why you find a lot of narcissists in religious organizations. Oops. So when you block them, believe it or not, however mighty you may think your narcissist is, or the narcissist that that overwhelms them. It overwhelms them. It's a scary feeling for them. And they're afraid that you're going to expose them to the point of no return. Because sometimes when you release facts, you can release facts in such a systematic way, in such a perfected way that it's just like done, mic drop. This is who you are. I've heard it said, Britney Spears was gagged, right? She couldn't talk for so long, and now she can. After all these years of what has happened to Britney, it's been alleged that Justin can't stop calling her. Can't stop calling her. It's like all these years you didn't lift the phone call, but now you can't stop calling? What are you afraid Britney might say? Now that's all alleged, right? That's all alleged coming from me. Allegedly speaking, that is. But I'm just like, if you think of what happened to her, the man who took her virginity and went on these different, interviews bragging about it, writing songs implying that she was some kind of lascivious something and that the failure of the relationship was her part. And it was literally their breakup was the beginning of the ending of her career. And things that happened from that. And we all know how Justin did the icon, Janet Jackson herself. So we can only imagine what happened to little Brittany. And if it's true, why are you calling her all of a sudden? Because when they could silence and control Brittany of House Spears, Lord have mercy, I'm in a mood. When they could silence and control my Brittany of House, I love Brittany. Sweetheart, just a true Southern belle. Just a gentle heart, gentle spirit. And now that she's free and pissed, everybody's scared. Yeah, babe.
What are you doing?
I am recording a audio for a YouTube video.
So we can get our subscribers back.
Yeah, so we can get our subscribers back. She's complaining a couple things. I got my Instagram hacked, and so she was really sad, like crying over these Christmas pictures we were missing after someone hacked Uppity Unicorn on Instagram. So she is only 4, so a little conflation of the two. But yeah, so in closing, come on, babe. Okay. So, in closing, they're going to need to be able to silence and control you more than...
Can you cut this?
Can I cut this? Yes, I can. Here.
Yeah.
Okay, scissors. Go show mommy. But you got to close the door. So they're going to need to be able to silence and control you more than you could ever imagine at this point. That's why I got off on that tangent with Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. But once you expose them to that point of no return, be it with court documents, mugshots, police, or phone records, be sure you are done. Be sure you are done with the cycle of, hoovering and breaking up and discarding. Be sure you're done with that, because if you ever let that person back in your space, you could lose your life. Good job. All right. Looks like I'm about to start cutting some more yarn, having a ball. All right, y'all.